Renewal of EZEKIEL's call as a watchman. Chapter 33. The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, speak to your people and say to them, when I bring the sword against our land, and the people of the land choose one of their men and make him their watchman. And he sees the sword coming against the land and blows the trumpet to warn the people. And then if anyone hears the trumpet, but does not heed the warning, and the sword comes and takes their life, their blood will be on their own head, since they heard the sound of the trumpet but did not heed the warning. Their blood will be on their own head. If they had heeded the warning, they would have saved themselves. But if the watchman sees the sword coming and does not blow the trumpet to warn the people, and the sword comes and takes someone's life, that person's life will be taken because of their sin. But I will hold the watchmen accountable for their blood. Son of man, I have made you a watchman for the people of Israel. So hear the word I speak and give them warning from me. When I say to the wicked, you wicked person, you will surely die, and you do not speak out to dissuade them from their ways, that wicked person will die for their sin, and I will hold you accountable for their blood. But if you do want the wicked person to turn from their ways, and they do not do so, they will die for their sin, though you yourself will be saved. Son of man, say to the Israelites, this is what you are saying, our offense and sins weigh us down, and we are wasting away because of them. How then can we live? Say to them, as sure as I live, because the sovereign Lord, I take no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but rather than they turn from their ways and live. Turn from your evil ways. Why will you die, people of Israel? Therefore, Son of man, say to your people, if someone who is righteous disobey, that person's former righteousness will count for nothing. And if someone who is wicked repent, that person's former wickedness will not bring condemnation. The righteous person who sins will not be allowed to live, even though they were formerly righteous. If I tell righteous person that they will surely live, but then they trust in their righteousness and do evil, none of the righteous things that person has done will be remembered. They will die for the evil they have done. And if I say to a wicked person, you will surely die, but they then turn away from their sin and do what is just and right, if they give back what they took in breeze for wrong, return what they have stolen, follow the decrees that give life, and do no evil, that person will surely live, they will not die. None of the sins that person has committed will be remembered against them. They have done what is just and right, they will surely live. And your people say, the way of the Lord is not just, but it is their way that is not just. If a righteousness person turns from their righteousness and does evil, they will die for it. And if a wicked person turns away from their wickedness and does what is just and right, they live by doing so. Yet you Israelites say, the way of the Lord is not just, but I will judge each of you according to your own ways. Jerusalem's Paul explained, in the 12th year of our exile, in the 10th month, on the 5th day, a man who had escaped from Jerusalem came to me and said, the city has fallen. Now the evening before the man arrived, the hand of the Lord was on me, and he opened my mouth before the man came to me in the morning. So my mouth was opened, and I was no longer silent. Then the sword of the Lord came to me. Son of man, the people living in those ruins in the land of Israel are saying, Abraham was only one man, yet he possessed the land, but we are many. Surely the land has been given to us as our possession. Therefore say to them, this is what the sovereign Lord says, since you eat meat with the blood still in it, and look to your idols and shed blood, should you then possess the land? You rely on your sword, you do detestable things, and each of you departs his neighbor's wife. should you then possess the land? Say this to them, this is what the sovereign Lord says, as sure as I live, those who are left in the ruins will fall by the sword. Those out in the country I will give to the wild animals to be devoured, and those in stronghold and caves will die of a plague. I will make the land a desolate waste, and her proud strength will come to an end, and the mountains of Israel will become desolate, so that no one will cross them. Then they will know that I am the Lord, when I have made the land a desolate waste because of all the detestable things they have done. As for you, son of man, your people are taking together about you by the walls and at the doors of the houses, saying to each other, come and hear the message that has come from the Lord. My people come to you as they usually do and sit before you to hear your words, but they do not put them into practice. Their mouths speak of love, but their hearts have greedily for unjust gain. Indeed, to them you are nothing more than one who sings love songs with a beautiful voice and plays an instrument, wherefore they hear your word, but do not put them into practice. When all this comes true, and surely will, then they will know that a prophet has been among them. The Lord will be Israel's shepherd. Chapter 34. The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, prophesy against the shepherd of Israel. Prophesy and say to them, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Woe to you, shepherds of Israel, who only take care of yourselves, should not that shepherd take care of the flock. You eat the cows, clothe yourselves with the wool, and slaughter the choice animals. But you do not take care of the flock. You have not strengthened the weak, or healed the sick, or bound up the injured. You have not brought back the stranger, or searched for the lost. You have ruled them harshly and brutally, so they were scattered because there was no shepherd, and when they were scattered they became food for all the wild animals. My sheep wandered over all the mountains and on every high hill. They were scattered over the whole earth, and no one searched one looked for them. Therefore, you shepherd, hear the word of the Lord. As sure as I live, declares the sovereign Lord, because my flock lacks a shepherd, and so has been plundered and has become food for all the wild animals, and because my shepherd did not search for my flock, but cared for themselves rather than for my flock. Therefore, you shepherds, hear the word of the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says. I am against the shepherds, and will hold them accountable for my flock. I will remove them from tending the flock, so that the shepherds can no longer feed themselves. I will rescue my flock from their mouths, and it will no longer be food for them. For this is what the sovereign Lord says. I myself will search for my sheep and look after them, as a shepherd looks after his scattered flock when he is with them. So will I look after my sheep. I will rescue them from all the places where they were scattered only, of clouds and darkness. I will bring them out from the nations and gather them from the countries, and I will bring them into their own land. I will pasture them on the mountains of Israel, in the ravines, and in all the settlements in the land. I will tend them in the good pastures and the mountains heights of Israel will be their grazing land. There they will lie down in good grazing land, and there they will feed in rich pastures on the mountains of Israel. I myself will tend my sheep and have them lie down, declares the sovereign Lord. I will search for the lost and bring back the strays. I will blind up the injured and strengthen the wicked, but the sick and the strong I will destroy. I will shepherd the flock with justice. As for you, my flock, this is what the sovereign Lord says. I will judge between one sheep and another, and between lambs and goats. Is it not enough for you to feed on the good pastures. Must you also trample the rest of your pastures with your feet? Is it not enough for you to drink clear water? Must you also muddy the rest with your feet? Must my flock feed on one you have trampled and drink one you have muddied with your feet? Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says to them. See, I myself will judge between the fat sheep and the lean sheep, because you shove with plank and shoulders, butting all the weak sheep with your horns until you have driven them away. I will save my flock, and they will no longer be plundered. I will judge between one sheep and another. I will place over them one shepherd, my servant David, and he will tend them. He will tend them and be their shepherd. I, the Lord, will be their God, and my servant David will be prince among them. I, the Lord, have spoken. I will make a covenant of peace with them and can lead the land of savage beasts so that they may live in the wilderness and sleep in the forest in safety. I will make them and the places surrounding my hill of blessing. I will send down showers in season. There will be showers of blessing. The trees will yield their fruits, and the ground will yield its crops. The people will be secure in their land. They will know that I am the Lord when I break the bars of their yoke and rescue them from the hands of those who enslave them. They will no longer be plundered by the nations, nor will wild animals devour them. They will live in safety, and no one will make them afraid. I will provide for them a land renowned for its crops, and they will no longer be victims of famine in the land or bear the scorn of the nations. Then they will know that I, the Lord their God, am with them, and that they, the Israelites, are my people, declares the sovereign Lord. You are my sheep, the sheep of my pastures, and I am your God, declares the sovereign Lord. A prophecy against Edom. Chapter 35. The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, send your faces against the mountains, prophesy against it, and say, This is what the sovereign Lord says, I am against you, mountains, and I will stretch out my hand against you and make your desolate waste. I will turn your towns into ruins, and you will be desolate. Then you will know that I am the Lord. Because you harbored an ancient hostility and delivered the Israelites over to the sword at the time of their calamity, the time their punishment reached its climax. Therefore, as sure as I live, declares the sovereign Lord, I will give you over to bloodshed, and it will pursue you. Since you did not hate bloodshed will pursue you. I will make you mountain jail a desolate waste, and cut off from it all who come and go. I will fill your mountains with the slain. Those killed by the sword will fall on your hills and in your valleys and in all your ravines. I will make you desolate forever. Your towns will not be inhabited. Then you will know that I am the Lord. Because you have said, these two nations and countries will be ours, and we will take possession of them, even though I the Lord, was there. Therefore, as sure as I live, declares the sovereign Lord, I will treat you in accordance with the anger and the jealousy you show in your hatred of them, and I will make myself known about them when I judge you. Then you will know. Then I, the Lord, have heard all the contemptible things you have said against the mountains of Israel. You said they have been laid waste and have been given over to us to devour. You boasted against me and spoke against me without restraint, and I heard it. This is what the sovereign Lord says. While the whole earth is rejoiced, I make you desolate, because you rejoiced when the inheritance of Israel became desolate. That is how I will treat you. You will be desolate, mountain Jair, you and all of Edom. Then they will know that I am the Lord. EZEKIEL chapter 36. Hope for the mountains of Israel. Son of man, prophesy to the mountains of Israel, and says, The mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says. The enemy said of you, aha, the ancient heights have become our possession. Therefore purpose and say, this is what the sovereign Lord says, because they ravaged and crushed you from every side, so that you become the possession of the rest of the nations and the object of people's malicious talk and slander. Therefore, mountains of Israel, hear the word of the sovereign Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord said to the mountains and the hills, to the ravines and the valleys, to the desolate ruins and the desert hills, and that have been plundered and ridiculed by the rest of the nations around you. This is what the sovereign Lord says, in my burning zeal I have spoken against the rest of the nations, and against all Edom, for with greed and with malice in their hearts they made my land their own possession, so that they might plunder its pasture land. Therefore prophecy concerning the land of Israel, and say to the mountains and the hills, to the ravens and the valleys, this is what the sovereign Lord says, I speak in my jealous wrath, because you have suffered scorn of the nations. Therefore this is what the sovereign Lord says, I swear with omnipotent hand that the nations around you will also suffer them scorn. But new mountains of Israel will produce branches and fruit of my people Israel, for they will soon come home. I am concerned for you, and will look on you with favor. You will be followed and sown, and I will cause many people to live on you. Yes, all of Israel, the towns will be inhabited and the ruins rebuilt. I will increase the number of people and the animals living on you, and they will be profitable and become numerous. I will set people on you as in the past, and will make you prosper for people than before. Then you will know that I am the Lord. I will cause my people Israel to live on you. They will possess you, and you will be their inheritance. You will never again deprive them of their children. This is what the sovereign Lord says, because some say to you, you will devour people and deprive your nations of its children. Therefore you will no longer devour people or make your nations childless. Declares the sovereign Lord, no longer will I make you hear the taunts of the nations, and no longer will you suffer the scorns of the peoples, or cause your nations to fall, declares the sovereign Lord. Israel's restoration assured. Again the sword of the Lord came to me, son of man, when the people of Israel were living in their own land. They defiled it by their conduct and their actions. Their conduct was like a woman's monthly uncleanness in my sight. So I poured out my wrath on them, because they had shed blood in the land, and because they had defiled it with their idols. I dispersed them among the nations, and they were scattered. Though the countries, I judged them according to their conduct and their actions. And wherever they went among the nations, they profaned my holy name, for it was said of me, these are the Lord's people, and yet they had to leave his land. I had concern for my holy name, which the people of Israel profaned among the nations where they had gone. Therefore say to the Israelites, this is what the sovereign Lord says, it is not for your sake, people of Israel, that I am going to do these things, but for the sake of my holy name, which you have profaned among the nations where you have gone. I will show the holiness of my great name, which has been profaned among the nations. The name you have profaned among them, then the nations will know that I am the Lord, declares the sovereign Lord, when I am proved holy through you before the sin. For I will take you out of the nations, I will gather you from all the countries, and bring you back into your own land. I will sprinkle clean water on you, and you will be clean. I will cleanse you from all your impurities and from all your idols. I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will remove from you your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit in you and move you to follow my decrees and be careful to keep my laws. Then you will live in the land I gave your ancestors. You will be my people, and I will be your God. I will save you from all your uncleanness. I will call for the grain and make plentiful, and will not bring famine upon you. I will increase the fruit of the trees and the crops of the field, so that you will no longer suffer disgrace among the nations because of famine. Then you will remember your evil ways that and wicked deeds, and you will loathe yourselves for your sins and that detestable practice. I want you to know that I am not doing this for your sake. Declares the sovereign Lord, be ashamed and disgraced for your conduct, people of Israel. This is what the sovereign Lord says. On the day I cleanse you from all your sins, I will resettle your towns. And the ruins will be rebuilt, the desolate land will be cultivated instead of lying desolate in the sight of all who pass through it. They will say, this land that was laid waste has become like the Garden of Eden. The cities that were lying in ruins, desolate and destroyed, are now fortified and inhabited. Then the nations around you that remain will know that the Lord I have rebuilt what was destroyed and have replanted what was destroyed. I, the Lord, had spoken, and I will do it. This is what the sovereign Lord says. Once again, I will yield to Israel's plea and do this for them. I'll make their peoples as numerous as sheep, as numerous as the flocks of offerings at Jerusalem during the appointed festival. So will the ruined cities be filled with flocks of people. Then they will know that I am the Lord. The Valley of Dry Bones. Chapter 37. The land of the Lord was on me, and he brought me out by the Spirit of the Lord, and set me in the middle of a valley. It was full of bones. He led me back and paused among them, and I saw great many bones on the floor of the valley, bones that were very dry. He asked me, Son of man, can these bones live? I said, Lord, you alone know. Then he said to me, prophesy to these bones and say to them, dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says to these bones. I'll make flesh enter you, and you will come to life. I'll attach tendons to you, and make flesh come upon you, and cover you with skin. I'll put breath in you, and you will come to life. Then you will know that I am the Lord. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and I was prophesying. There was a noise, a rattling sound, and the bones came together, bone to bone. I looked, and the tendons and the flesh appeared on them, and the skin covered them, but there was no breath in them. Then he said to me, prophesy to the breast, prophesy, Son of man, and say to it, this is what the sovereign Lord says, come, breathe from the four winds, and breathe into the slain, that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and breathed into them. They came to life and stood on their feet, a vast army. Then he said to me, Son of man, these bones are the people of Israel. They say, our bones are dried up, and our hope is gone. We are cut off, therefore prophesy, and say to them, this is what the sovereign Lord says, my people, I am going to open your graves and bring you up from them. I'll bring you back to the land of Israel, then you, my people, will know that I am the Lord. And when I open your graves and bring you up from them. I'll put my spirit in you, and you will live, and I'll settle you in your own land. Then you will know that the Lord, have spoken, and I have done it, declares the Lord. One nation under one king. The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, take a stick of wood and light on it belonging to Judah, and the Israelites associated with them. Then take another stick of wood and write on it belong to Joseph, that is to Abraham, and all the Israelites associated with him. Join them together into one city, so that they will become one in your land. When your people ask you, won't you tell us what you mean by this? Say to them, this is what the sovereign Lord says, I am going to take the stick of Joseph, which is in Abraham's hand, and of the Israelite tribes associated with him, and join it to Judah's stick. I'll make them into a single stick of wood, and they will become one in my hand. Hold before their eyes the sticks you have written on, and say to them, This is what the sovereign Lord says. I'll take the Israelites out of the nations where they have gone. I'll gather them from all around and bring them back into their own land. I'll make them one nation in the land on the mountains of Israel. There will be one king over all of them, and they will never again be two nations or be divided into two kingdoms. They will no longer defile themselves with their idols and Baal images or with any of their offenses, for I will save them from all their sinful backsliding, and I will cleanse them. They will be my people, and I will be their God. My servant David will be king over them, and they will also have one shepherd. They will follow my laws and be careful to keep my decrees. They will live in the land I gave to my servant Jacob, the land where your ancestors lived. They and their children and their children's children will live there forever, and David, my servant, will be their prince forever. I'll make a covenant of peace with them. It will be an everlasting covenant. I'll establish them and increase their numbers, and I'll put my sanctuary among them forever. My dwelling place will be with them. I'll be their God, and they will be my people. Then the nations will know that I, the Lord, make Israel holy when my sanctuary is among them forever. The Lord's great victory over the nations. Chapter 38. The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, send your pace against Gog of the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Dubai. Prophesy against him, and say, This is what the sovereign Lord says, I am against you, Gog, chief prince of Meshech and Dubai. I will turn you around, put hooks in your jaws, and bring you out with your whole army. Your horsemen, fully armed, and operate hold with large and small shields, all of them brandishing their swords. Persia, Goose, and Put will be with them, all with shields and helmets, also Gomer with all its troops, and Bag Togarmas from the far north with all its troops, the many nations with you. Get ready, be prepared, you and all the herds gathered upon you, and take command of them. After many days you will be called to arms. In future years you will invade a land that has recovered from war, whose people were gathered from many nations to the mountains of Israel, which had long been desolated. They had been brought out from the nations, and now all of them live in safety. You and all your troops and the many nations with you will go advancing like a storm. You will be like a cloud covering the land. This is what the sovereign Lord says. On that day, truth will come into your mind, and you will devise an evil scheme. You will say, I will invade a land of unveiled bliss. I will attack a peaceful and unsuspecting people, all of them living without walls and without gates and bars. I plunder and loot and turn my hand against the settled ruins and the people gathered from the nations, rich in livestock and goods, living at the center of the land. Sheba and Dedan and the merchants of Tarshish and all her villages will say to you, Have we come to plunder? Have you gathered your hoarders to loot, to carry off silver and gold, to take away livestock and goods, and to seize much plunder? Therefore, Son of man, prophesy and say to go, This is what the sovereign Lord says. In that day, when my people Israel are living in safety, will you not take notice of it? You will come from your palace and the far north, you and many nations with you, all of them riding on horses, a great horde, a mighty army. You will advance against my people Israel like a cloud that covers the land in the days to come. Go, I'll bring you against my land, so that the nations may know me when I am proved holy through you before their eyes. This is what the Lord Sovereign Lord says. You are the one I spoke of in former days by my servant the prophets of Israel. At that time they prophesied for years that I would bring you against them. This is what will happen in that day when Gog attacks the land of Israel. My hot anger will be around it, declares the sovereign Lord. In my zeal and purely will I declare that at that time there shall be a great earthquake in the land of Israel. The pigeon in the sea, the birds in the sky, the blessed beast of the field, every creature that moves. The beast in the sea, the birds in the sky, the beast of the field, and every creature that moves along the ground, and all the people on the face of the earth will tremble at my presence. The mountains will be overturned, the cliff will crumble, and every wall will fall to the ground. I'll summon a sword against Gog, and on all my mountains, declares the sovereign Lord. Every man's sword will be against his brother. I'll execute judgment on him with plague and bloodshed. I'll pour down torrent of rain, hailstone, and burning sulfur on him and on his troops and on the many nations with him. And so I will show my greatness and my holiness, and I'll make myself known in the sight of many nations. Then they will know that I am the Lord. Chapter 39. Son of man, prophesy against Gog and say, this is what the sovereign Lord says. I am against you, Gog, chief prince of Meshech and Dubai. I will turn you around and drag you along. I'll bring you from the far north and send you against the mountains of Israel. Then I'll strike your bows from your left hand and make your arrows drop from your right hand. On the mountains of Israel you will pour, and you and all your troops and the nations with you. I'll give you as a food to kill all around, all kinds of carrion birds and to the wild animals. You will pour in the open fields, for I have spoken, declares the sovereign. The nations with you. I'll give you as food to all kinds of carrion birds and to the wild animals. You will pour in the open fields, for I have spoken, declares the sovereign Lord. I'll send fire on Magog and on those who live in safety in the coastland, and they will know that I am the Lord. I'll make known my holy name among my people. I'll no longer let my holy name be profaned, and the nations will surely. For I have spoken, declares the sovereign Lord. I'll send fire on Magog and on those who live in safety in the coastlands, and they will know that I am the Lord. I'll bring I'll make known my holy name among my people Israel. I will no longer let my holy name be profaned, and the nations will know that I, the Lord and the Holy One, is in Israel. It is coming, it will surely take place, declares the sovereign Lord. This is the day I have spoken of. Then those who live in the towns of Israel will go out and use the weapons for fuel and burn them up, the small and large shield, the bows and the loaves, the war cups and the spears. For 7 years they will use them for fuel. They will not need to gather wood from the fields or cut it from the forest, because they will use the weapons for the pure, and they will plunder those who plundered them and loot those who looted them, declares the sovereign Lord. On that day I will give Gog a burial place in Israel in the valleys of these who travel east of the sea. I will bring the ways of travelers, because Gog and all his horde will be buried there. So it will be called the Valley of Hamon. 12. For 7 months the Israelites will be bearing them in order to cleanse the land. All the people of the land will bear them, and the day I display my glory will be a memorable day for them, declares the sovereign Lord. People will be continually employed in cleansing the land. They will go. For 7 months the Israelites will be bearing them in order to cleanse the land. All the people of the land will bear them, and the day I display my glory will be a memorable day for them, declares the sovereign Lord. The people will be continually For 7 months the Israelites will be bearing them in order to cleanse the land. All the people of the land will bear them, and the day I display my glory will be a memorable day for them, declares the sovereign Lord. The people will be continually employed in cleansing the land. They will spread out across the land, and along with others they will bury and the bodies that are lying on the ground. After the 7 months they will carry out or more detailed search as they go through the land. Anyone who sees a human bone will leave a marker beside it until the grave diggers bury it in the valley of Hamon near a town called Hamona, and so they will cleanse the land. Son of man, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Call out to every kind of bird and all the wild animals. Assemble and come together from all around the sacrifice I am preparing for you. The great sacrifice on the mountains of Israel. There you will eat flesh and drink blood. You will eat the flesh of mighty men and drink the blood of the princes of the earth, as if they were lambs and lambs, goats and bulls, all of them fattened animals from Bashan. At the sacrifice I am preparing for you, you will eat fat till you are glutted, and drink blood till you are drunk. At my table you will eat your people of horses and riders, mighty men and soldiers of every kind, declares the sovereign Lord. I will display my glory among the nations, and all the nations will see the punishment I inflict and the hand I lay on them. From that day forward, the people of Israel will know that I am the Lord their God, and the nations will know that the people of Israel went into exile for their sin. Because they were unfaithful to me, so I hid my face from them and handed them over to their enemies. And they all fell by the sword. I deal with them according to their uncleanness and their offense, and I hid my face from them. Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says: I will now restore the fortunes of Jacob, and will have compassion on all the people of Israel, and I will be jealous for my holy name. They will forget their shame and all the unfaithfulness they showed toward me when they live in safety in their land with no one to make them afraid. When I have brought them back from the nations and have gathered them from the countries of their enemies, I will be proved holy through them in the sight of many nations. Then they will know that I am the Lord their God. For though I sent them into exile among the nations, I will gather them to their own land, not leaving any behind. I will no longer hide my face from them. For I pour out my spirit on the people of Israel, declares the sovereign Lord. Amen.